Okay. So Kaushalya, welcome back, because the internet connection got disconnected, and not surprising because you're in India and these things happen. And what I will do is to upload this as two programs, because I don't edit, especially my interviews. And rather than trying to put both together, this will go as part two, while the first one, in which you came up to your university career, will go as part one. And we stopped the first conversation where you were talking about Anusha Kollure as someone who helped you very much in your university, your self-confidence in English, because she got you to trust in your writing skills. And as an English teacher, I just want to ask you, how important is it to have someone who believes in you, or a particular skill you have in the language as you go on? How much of an impact did that have?
Yeah, I think it was really important.
Kaushalya, come closer. You're very soft. You've got to speak to the mic. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really important. I mean, I don't think I had someone, who encouraged me and, like in a way, I to, to give that sort of confidence that, okay, you can do it. So then Anusha Kollure is, one of the names that I should definitely mention very, dearly. And, I always, sometimes, you forget to mention these names when you narrate these sort of journeys. But yeah, she is someone. And then I should definitely mention Kaushalya Ariratna, now Dr. Kaushalya Ariratna. I think we were very close back then, and we shared many things. And then she also helped.
And that's a batchmate as opposed to a teacher. Yeah. Okay, right?
So she also, helped me not only, like even later when I do translations and all, it was a really, serious help. I think I shared this experience that I had in the university, in the Sinhala interview, that I had this friend from Paduk. His name is Susanta Dolavata. He's a very close friend even now. So I used to go to Paduk with him, sometimes, in Fridays, go and spend some time and spend a night there and come back. So I experienced something really fascinating back then in Paduk. Paduk is a kind of a, it outskirts in Colombo district, a very small kind of a town, in a rural kind of a place in a way. So when you visit Paduk in early 2000, 2002, 2003, around that time, when I go to this, Pola, this marketplace, vegetable vendors were talking in English, and there was this person called Ajit, Vade Ajit we called back then, and he had a Vade stall in in the center of the town. It's a very popular place at that time. It's a very small Vade stall. He also, these people were communicating in English, and something I really, normally we get intimidated by, among upper class English speaking community sort of place. But this is a place that I felt, I was not, I don't think I communicated in English back then at that time. So they were doing it. So this was fascinating. They were very, and all of them were from very humble backgrounds. So
Kaushalya, you felt bad about not knowing English, not in a elite place, but in a polar. You actually felt bad.
Yeah, in that sort of place. And the person who's behind all of these things, his name is Kumarasa. I don't know his full name. People know him by that name, Kumarasa. So he had a in a particular kind of teaching, teaching English, with some sort of, some ideas of spirituality, some ideas of Osho, Krishnamurti, and his own ideas too. And, so he managed to eliminate that fear of speaking. That's the main thing, that we don't speak. Otherwise, if you don't have a fear, and, if you don't care about what other people think, you can speak. But that's what he did. So I wanted to share this. I don't think this particular experience had any, serious impact on my own development, but this experience itself has something to say. That's why I.
That's a kind of incredible story, Kaushalya. So
Yeah.
is he still around?
Yeah. He's still. I don't know whether he's still. He's doing. He does his tuition classes, but. Yeah, he's a different, a peculiar kind of person.
And he only gave tuition. He wasn't a school teacher.
No. As I remember.
Right. But that was.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
he's
so that
from
was
a rural landowner sort of family, and he's a black sheep of the family, I guess. So, and he, he is a different kind of a character. He sometimes he didn't wear slippers. He walked on his barefoot. Just he sometimes come to the come town, and just dance sometimes. This I mean that also that showed don't care what other people think. You just behave the way you want. So that, I think, that impact created a very amazing results. That I know some of these people, without him, some of these people wouldn't do the things that they have done later in their lives. Some people who few people came to the law faculty, and some of them actually did English tuition. I remember Susanta did English tuition when when he was in law faculty. So that sort of confidence so this is a different kind of story. So yeah, after I finished.
Nevertheless, it's inspirational, because we
Yeah,
hear stories like that. And one of the reasons, Kaushal, I'll just add it here, though it's not connected to you, the 8 to 10 English classes that we started in Japura was inspired by this particular school teacher who used to get all his students to come at 7 and speak to him in English. So one of these characters, any one of them, can inspire so many others, and it has this domino effect of where people take that idea. So I mean, I think thank you for that story. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, after when I finished my undergrads, LLB, I didn't want to be a lawyer. So I realized, this is not my place to be. So but I didn't know what to do. And I remember once, and at that time I have, in a way, I was not anymore with that particular group I told,
Kaushalya, did we speak about the fact that you guys had actually taken a house and were living together like a communal group? I think we couldn't discuss that in English.
Okay. Yeah, I actually don't remember that. So that particular group I mentioned earlier. So it was not simply a small reading group. It was kind of it's meant to be some sort of a political organization. So we rented a small house, and then we had television and a DVD player to screen films and discuss movies, and we had that sort of side also to it. And so none of us had a proper job except I think Madhava. So to fund the plays and our activities, sometimes you know, we went to sing songs in public buses and trains, and and sometimes I think selling bookmarks also another thing that we did. And some of us, took this marketing research sort of things, to get part-time jobs sort of things.
Could you actually sing? Were there actual singers among you? Who are these people?
Yeah. Actually, we can.
But they might be paying you not to sing.
Yeah, Sudatta Madhava. And
okay.
Sudatta Madhava is a singer, and then
Okay.
also can. I also manage. Yeah, so it went well actually.
So the core group was you, Vidarshana, and you said Vidura Munasinghe as well, right? And he's
I think I mentioned those names. I don't know whether I did it. Vidarshana Kannangara, Vidura Munasinghe, Sudanta Madhava, Samanmali Kumari, Prabhat Hemanta, Supun Vishabuddhi. These were the initial. We actually formed the group, and Chamar Group A. So then this was kind of not very simple breeding group sort of activity. It was something the the main thing in our lives at that time. So this was we wanted to expand this slowly and make some sort of a some strange kind of a social cultural sort of movement. So that was the main idea. And so at some point Dr. Pradeep Jagannathan and Malati Always visited us in once in, I think we had some sort of a informal kind of discussion with them, because I think once Vidarshana went to ICS and he has told Dr. Pradeep, we are doing this kind of a thing, and then he wanted to come and see. So he and Malati came once, and then they saw us, and then they were quite, they got really amazed, what these people are doing here,
even at that time, Pradeep Jagannathan and Malati Dialvis would have been some leading social scientists in Sri Lanka who had also
not only in Sri Lanka, I think, even
internationally. Yes.
Internationally,
Right. So it's amazing that they would come and see what is going on here.
Yeah. And actually I don't think we had a very clear idea about the actual status in this within the academia, because we were not very familiar with this kind of Sri Lankan sociological knowledge. This this relationship we do from with Dr. Malati Dialvis and Pradeep Jagannathan, in a way, helped a lot. They offered us, if we want, they asked whether do you think ICES can do something for you? And you can, if you want, we can ask them to, arrange, some, auditorium for your discussions, if you want, something like that. We can see whether there's any possibility to do something.
Right. ICES would be the International Center for Ethnic Studies, which was very, very involved in research, established by Dr. Neelan Tiruchelva. And even now they're very active, but it had a huge heyday. I think during the time you are speaking about.
Yeah. So then, because we were doing this film screening, and we sometimes, we watch these movies, and sometimes we download all these screenplays and film reviews and sometimes, and then sometimes translate this text, and then do we we try to analyze these films, not very easy films sometimes, like David Lynch, Cronenberg, that sort of figures. I remember we had this film screening with Dr. Jagannathan and Dr. Malathi Alvis. I think that was Blue Velvet. So these discussions, so they were quite ready to offer us whatever we want to, something to help us. But we actually,
the discussions were in Sinhala still.
Yeah,
Pradeep Jagannathan, though he's ethnically Tamil, he could speak Sinhala with you as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
We actually have written a book also together later, much recently. So so I think we so later, I think when I finished my undergraduate, I didn't want to be a lawyer. So then I was a bit confused, what to do now. So there's not many options that, you have done LLB now, go do attorneys and then be a lawyer. That's pretty much the option you have, the only option you have, because there are few more other options, but I didn't want to be in that particular field. So I remember once I discussed this with Pradeep, and then he said, if you would like to be a translator, I can recommend you to ICES, and then you can be a research translator for some time. You can translate because you guys are doing these sort of things now, so you can do it. I felt a bit, I was not very confident enough. I said, I don't know whether I can. I think you guys are doing this sort of thing. So then I think you can. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. And then he asked me, if you want, I would really like if you can translate At the Water's Edge, his collection of short stories. So then I actually started translating his that into Sinhala, and it was published in 2007, I guess, in I think Godage Publishers did it, and Diyadara. So then I started working in ICS as a translator. It's a different kind of experience. I was not very familiar with this Sri Lankan social anthropological knowledge, but I had some familiarity with social theory and this post-structuralist and psychoanalytic sort of knowledge. So then so this.
But Kaushalya, even at that time, there may not even have been words in Sinhala to explain some of these phrases, the new words. How I mean, you were not translating simple things. You were translating, very, very updated stuff. So how did you handle that? Did you discuss with someone? Did you there were no glossaries or anything?
I discussed with sometimes with the writers, and Kaushalya Kumarasinghe was also there, and then she also helped, and sometimes like creating new words, some phrases for words. You can't sometimes find find exact word, and if you add some sort of a word, and it will not be readable at all. If you find some sort of, in the dictionary, you can find words, but if you add those words to the text, that text will be completely, non-readable. So then it was challenging, and I don't think those translations are really good, but it was, somewhat okay. So this, I think, gave me, a different kind of direction. Now I was, I didn't have any, when I start this job, I was not very clear about what am I going to do. But when I exposed to this sociological, anthropological knowledge, then I felt like, okay, I want to study social anthropology. So, and translating and reading ICS library is a really good place for anthropological, sociological knowledge. Even now, this is one of the main places that one should go if they want to find knowledge. I mean, mainly knowledge on Sri Lanka, something Sri Lankan society and culture. So that gave me that sort of direction also. And this exercise of translating very difficult texts again, gave me some kind of a confidence that and very again it enhanced the way of thinking and the way I look at the world. So then I wanted to do a postgraduate, and when I actually Pradeep and Malati also raised this once in a while, and okay, you can do now, if you want, you can do a postgrad, something like that. So then but I was not very confident, but there I think especially Malati, they always encouraged me and give that you can do it. You just that's how things are. It will be difficult to a certain extent, but you will find a way.
Just to flag that personality, Malati Dialvis, it's a year and a few days since she passed away. But I think, Kaushalya, what you say about her, many young scholars can say, because she was someone who had helped very many people step into academia, upgrade whatever level they were. And her untimely passing is one of the saddest things that happened to the academia in Sri Lanka, and also the young people. I know how much many young people were affected, because that was such a intelligent, wise, and a very generously spirited woman who helped so many young people achieve what they were capable of.
Yeah, extremely generous. And I think when I started my master's in Durham, I think she helped me throughout. I think when I write assignments and even when I write proposals, where to apply, that sort of things. And she's someone I know, very, you get very prompt replies. When you send an email, you get it like within the same day, within like, if it's some, within few minutes, sometimes you get the reply. And she's like that till the end. She helped me a lot, and so it is really it's a sad loss, I think. And not only this kind of help, this in the context of ideas, that the way they sometimes guide you to the line of thinking, that is also very important. And she's someone I think really helped me during this postgrad. So yeah, so I I think the main difficulty was writing when I in my master's program. So I remember when I do my assignments, I get marks, but I think it's only for, I know it's only for ideas, but the
So
I mean,
Kaushalya, this is the first time you're attempting to write in English, right? In your life? Read a lot with your film screening, you read a lot, but the actual production of writing is actually happening when your master started?
yeah, but I have done some, before you go to masters, you have to do IELTS and all, that some I had, but this is not the same when you are in this kind of a program. So yeah, so when I write assignments, when I get my marks, I get with a lot of corrections. So that also helped in a way. And I remember my supervisor in Durham, Bob Simpson, he did a lot of editing, and but I remember one thing, that when you start writing, you feel something that okay, you can write. It's not like you can write, but there are mistakes, but still you can. With mistakes you can write, you can express what you want, but that expression has maybe a lot of grammatical mistakes, but still the idea, you can communicate a certain idea with that. So that helped, and then gradually it develops. When you write, it develops. So that's how it went. And I remember, and I should mention my friend Wangisa Sumanasekaar also, because he was in London back then. He was doing his masters, and we used to go to seminars and all. And then he also someone who encourage or he point out, okay, you should read this book and you should listen to this particular program, something like that. And we used to go to seminars done by Slavoj Žižek, this sort of people. I remember once we even bump into Žižek while we were going to his seminar, and that sort of that these are like interesting experiences. So this how I mean, yeah. And yeah, then I even now, now I'm doing my I did my MPhil in South Asian University after that. And Indian academic culture also very, particular kind of a thing. It's very...
Kaushalya, I'm going to interrupt you and ask, do you think the fact that you're a writer in Sinhala, and such a good one at that, it helped you have confidence in writing English as well? Because to immediately get into that kind of academic writing seems quite inspirational.
Maybe, yeah, I'm not very sure about it, but yeah, because writing as an exercise is not very, difficult. It's that I haven't done any, I haven't published any fiction back then, but and
nevertheless, the skill had to be in you. Because the reason I'm saying that is, as a teacher, I realized that the production part, the receptive part of reading and listening is, I'm not saying it's easy, but the actual production seems to be a little bit more difficult for many Sri Lankan learners, more than writing speech. People are very hesitant to speak in English in public, especially because of the other socio-political stuff that's going on. They get laughed at. And another thing is writing, because it takes action, it takes doing. And again, that's not a comfortable place to be if you're not familiar with the language. So I was thinking, yeah, your skill as a writer in whatever language would have also helped you transition into that straightaway academic writing. because your story is something that makes it clear that you started always with the difficult thing. Your reading was Foucault and Derrida and those people, and your writing was academic, master's level writing. So through sheer hard work and persistence, and this is a common thread that has gone in every conversation I had. It's not going to come easy, but if you're at it and you keep doing it and you have teachers who correct you, it's doable, it's achievable, you can get there. So, okay, continue.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, after I spent some time in Sri Lanka after I finished my master's, and then I worked in Open University also, and then for my MPhil and PhD, I came to South Asian University, and here also I think I find it, we have a very good academic culture, and there are a lot of discussions, seminars, and you have to present a lot, and that sort of and then I met very interesting friends like Ajmal Kamal. He's a good translator, and we did this cross translation Merahas Kaulwene Bena to Urdu, and then again literary discussions, literary festivals, that sort of things, that cultural and academic scene in Delhi and in India in general. So that also helped later, and even now, this is, I think this is a journey that I have begun, and there's no destination. It's like still I have good friends like Kumud Bansali, people like them. They help me when it comes to certain matters in English. And definitely I should mention Professor Sasanka Pereira. He's my supervisor. And all of these people, there are a lot of people, you have this sort of community. So I still do a lot of mistakes, even that.
And the admittance of that and the acceptance of that is crucial, I think, because I myself make mistakes. No one can say we have achieved perfection in language. And to realize that is crucial when you're a language learner, that it's a journey, there's no destination. You can just keep improving. And you might be at 10 points, you might be at 50, you might be at 75, but that we are all working. And for those above in front of us, not to laugh or not to look down at the people who are at the start of the journey. That's one of the appeals I keep making within this channel and even when I teach.
Yeah, true. But the main important thing is to take English as a tool, and nothing to do with any
social mobility.
Social mobility, or
in Sri Lanka, I don't think you can make it stop doing that, right? But what I will take away from your interview, Kaushalya, which we did it in 2 parts, is that your method was learning through doing. Not learning in a classroom, not just waiting till you knew something to start. You exposed yourself to the language because as an adult, because you felt the need to access knowledge in English. So it was an instrument, simply an instrument for you to access what you wanted. And I think the passion or the desire for certain things made you follow it, forgetting that you had to learn language first. It wasn't a first this, then that. This is always, I think, a problem. If I do this, then I can do that. You did that, and in the process, learned the language as well. And I would, as an English teacher, say that's one of the, it's possible. You can learn it as an adult. Don't think that you'll miss the bus if you don't learn it as a child. Though, of course, it's easy. It's easier if you learn it as a child, but if you don't, with hard work like what you did, and always follow your passion. Critical theory and all that stuff was your passion. Mine might have been fiction. Professor Amarakirti's was fiction. It doesn't matter so long as you're passionate about it. You're passionate about improving your knowledge and following what you desire. The ways are there. So
Yeah.
as a ELT teacher, that your story showed that there are other ways of actually doing, engaging, producing the language, which helps you on that journey of learning. Is there anything else you would like to add, Kaushalya, about your journey of, there's another discussion which I won't have with you, whether your English reading helped you write, because there's so much research that has gone into your Nimnagi Itihasya. But I probably would not approach that because that's not a common thing for everybody. But
Yeah.
this story is common. So I'll leave it at, that. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I think we had a really long discussion.
Yes.
So
I keep
yeah,
forgetting
there are a
the
lot of things come to mind, but I think it's better to stop at this, and it's
Yes.
really nice to have this discussion. I think I had a really nice time.
Thank you,
Talking
Kaushal, and thank
of-
you for the generosity with time. That's one thing I noticed with everyone who is passionate about, language and writing. They are very generous in getting others, how telling others without hiding the ladder, how they got there. And that's also a gift. So let me thank you again for your time, and good luck with your research. And I will probably see you again soon.
Thank
Bye
you.
then. Okay.